Hey, it's Korinn again. 365 days of open heart living. Today is day 107, reflection. That word is super interesting, kind of fascinating. Reflection. So when I say the word reflection, like, what do you think of? Like, do you think of a reflection as like a reflection in a mirror, your reflection in a puddle of water, the reflection of the like landscape, like how you can sit in front of a lake, and if the water's clear, the reflection is of that which is up outside of the lake. The trees, the sky, the grasses are all on the surface of the lake. They're reflecting that which is contained, around it. And underneath of the reflection of the water, there's so much. There's so much. And if we stop, so another way to think, maybe you thought of reflection as in, thought, being reflective, having reflection as in looking at yourself introspectively or analyzing life or something in your life. And that reflection, it's kind of the same. If the waters are smooth and steady, and there's no ripples, and it's quiet and it's still, in the stillness of those waters, of being introspective, you can see your reflection. You can see that which is around and a part of that space of your being. And there's so much depth also contained under that surface reflection. Yeah. If the waters are smooth and steady and we're looking at them, we can see that reflection of that which is above, up on the surface. But if we look down into those still and steady waters, we can see what's underneath as well. Yeah, I'm kind of getting a little dreamy in the thinking about this. So when we have self-reflection, we see ourselves, we see our face reflecting back to us. That's the surface. We see how we look reflecting back to us. That's the surface. But when the waters are still, when we're still in meditation, in our breathing and our breath, and our mind stills and slows, then that same ability to look at ourselves goes past that which is of the surface reflecting back to us and goes deeper into what's under the surface, so that we can then see the fullness of how we are. By seeing the reflection and by seeing what's under the reflection of how we are. Life is busy. There are so many things pulling at us most of the time. we, we all have our things that we like to chill out and do. But when we're not chilling, then we're up, moving around, doing what we have to do, making life happen. So when is the time to sit and be with yourself and reflect? You know, one of my, I feel, gifts potentially is that, I don't know, maybe I'll call it more of a passion. I have a passion for helping people to connect with themselves. Like, I think it's beautiful. Like, to discover yourself, to know yourself, to feel yourself, to be proud of who you are, to accept that we're all human. We all have flaws, we all have imperfections, and that we're great and worthy and lovable because of those imperfections, because we are who we are through and through. We are who we are on the surface, and we are who we are internally. And when we're able to live in such a way that that outer face is not causing us to miss what's inside, deep inside of ourselves, to live in such a way that we can connect inside, it gives us more beauty to the way we're living our life. It adds to who we are when we feel and know ourselves and can go deep and reflect. And I feel like I love inspiring this in others. And a part of that is maybe because it's a practice for me, and it has been a practice for a long time. And maybe you're the same, where very often you stop yourself and just need to collect yourself and reflect on kind of, how am I doing? What do I need? You know, if that's natural for you, this is going to be a fun meditation for you. If it's not natural for you, this is going to be a gift of a meditation for you, because you need to take the time to ask yourself those very things when you're in a state of being still and quiet, where the waters of your being are smooth. There's no ripple, there's no interference, no distraction. It's just you connecting with you. And with that, I invite you to close your eyes. We're going to still your inner waters, letting things go smooth and quiet within you by centering on feeling your breath. As you feel your breath move in and out, your breath naturally slows down and feels smoother. As your breath slows down, your mind slows down too. And you sit in your own quiet of inner stillness. In this space of stillness, you can reflect and see what's on the surface and also see what is under the surface, deeper within you. In this stillness, I want you to ask yourself and reflect on your self answer. The question for you to ask yourself is, how am I doing? Maybe even ask yourself, how am I doing on the surface? And how am I doing deep inside, under the surface? And reflect on if there is a discrepancy between those two states, surface level to deep inside. And now ask yourself and reflect upon your answer to the question, what do I need? And see what comes up in you from looking inside and answering. What do you need? in your quiet stillness, listen for what comes up from deep inside of you. For what do you need? When you're ready, you can open your eyes. So in coming to this space of stillness, where you can listen to your inner self and connect, there's much that can be built there. The self-awareness, self-connection, self-direction. It's something we have to build for ourselves. It's, sometimes automatic to a degree, but in the busyness of the world, we have to create the space and the time to come to center, to still and to quiet and to reflect. And the beautiful thing that is built in doing that is you're more connected to yourself. And the more connected that you feel to yourself, the more you feel yourself. And the more those inner feelings that you have for yourself are identifiable. You see them, you feel them, you understand them, you listen to them. And in that, you have more self-trust that is built. And in having more trust in yourself, you are a stronger individual in your own life. You become a stronger force in your own life by being internally connected with yourself and trusting in that connection that you have. That you can feel how you're doing, and that you can ask yourself, what do I need? And that which you need, that answer spoken to you, telling you, what is it that I need? That comes from your inner voice, and you can trust it because you feel it and you hear it, and you can trust it to listen to when it tells you, what is it that I need? And when it talks straight to us and tells us, how am I doing? Sometimes not so great, right? Sometimes we need to ask, what do I need then? And inner connection and inner trust, it equals strong inner guidance. And that is why it is important to build connection to yourself and to come to a time of reflection where your inner waters are quieted and stilled, so you can feel yourself, so you can be aware of yourself. And so that reflection that is on the surface can be seen, as well as what's under the surface, the depth of yourself can be seen as well. So interesting, if there was a discrepancy between when you were reflecting on how am I doing on the surface, how do I appear to be doing, versus how am I really doing, how am I doing under the surface. If when you asked yourself that there was a discrepancy of it appears like I'm this, but under the surface I'm really this, like it appears like I have everything figured out and I'm doing great on the surface, but underneath I'm struggling, I'm overworked, I'm stressed, I can't manage things, I'm falling apart emotionally, that's a big discrepancy. That's that face surface level, and you can reflect into what is that doing to, maybe add to the not so good feeling of how you really feel. Do you feel like you have to keep your face and have it all look like you have it together? Maybe that's a stress point for you that's causing the inner tumultuous that's under the surface to be like out of sorts, because there's that discrepancy. They're not in alignment. Your outer face and inner world are not in alignment. If you're pretending everything's great, I'm okay, but inside you're like, oh my God, I can barely get through the day. I just want to scream. Oh my God, I'm on the verge of tears. Like that reflection that is your face value to the external world, that's not accurate, and we don't have to show everybody our true self. Like, we get to decide, we get to pick and choose, like, where am I comfortable being me? Where am I comfortable? Who do I trust? We get to pick and choose, but we can't live 100% in the discrepancy of everything's fine and then like no, it's not. Like, we need to meet ourselves and reflect in both surface and depth and know and ask, how am I doing? What do I need? Do I need to step away from the spaces that I feel like I need to hold my face up and be put together so that I can heal inside and be in my sorrow or be in my hurt or my struggle and manage that without needing to pretend? What's the real truth? The real truth is held inside in the depth. And we want to give that time and space and reflect in it so that that which is deep inside of us can have space to heal, to be worked through, to be tilled up, so that it reflects how we are at face value, so that who we are inside is an accurate representation of how we appear to be on the outside. I said that backwards. So that who we are on the outside is an accurate representation to the truth of how we are on the inside. We are human beings. We are living life. It is not all great. It is okay to not be okay. If that's your truth, there can be power in that can help you heal and elevate yourself to being in your truth, so that the way that you appear or think you need to appear, it doesn't stand at odds with how you really are. And the discrepancy between the two does not cause further misalignment, but that the truth of what is real causes you to allow yourself to be more in alignment on that surface level too. And just say, I'm kind of having a hard day, working through it. Or I don't know, how to handle this particular thing in my life, but I'm figuring it out. I'm trying. Or just, yeah, I'm okay. Life is tricky. I'm feeling okay-ish. I'm feeling okay-ish. I'm doing my best. And right now that looks kind of messy. I don't know. I don't really know how I'm doing, but I'm trying to figure it out for myself. So I'm not going to say much about that right now. Or even saying, I don't really know how I'm doing, but maybe if I talk through it with you, I might be able to understand myself a little bit more just by verbalizing and talking through it, because that is a way to process, and figure things out. It's by talking about it, letting that depth come up and out. Yeah, whatever your truth is, don't be afraid of it. Embrace it. You're made to grow, same as life is made to not be peachy keen. There's struggles. We live in our struggles sometimes, but we don't need to make our struggles bigger by pretending we don't have struggles. Yeah, okay. All right, that's enough for me. I hope you have benefited from this quiet stillness of connecting. May you live your heart.